This is Paul. Yes. Mm-hmm. It's 116. Yeah. I haven't been able to speak to my sons. Yeah. So I thought I'd do a little research on exactly what's necessary to prosecute those that commit the crime of domestic violence. Now, just looking at some of the information, it looks like if you're in law enforcement, there's some additional requirements to be able to prosecute. Yes. Those that are employees that are sworn officers. Now, I haven't had this experience in all the arrests that I had. Yes. Where the patrol officer that responds to an incident, yes, described as domestic violence involving a citizen, should, whenever possible, request a supervisory response to the scene. Yeah. Now, the primary unit will conduct a thorough investigation, yes, including but not limited to photographs of the crime scene and any injuries identified. Yeah. Statements from all witnesses, including children, if any. Yeah. Then there's the domestic violence supplemental report form. Yeah. Seizing any weapons used or referred to in the crime. A signed medical release. Copies of the dispatch CAD records. Yes. Then a 911 call recording preserved. Yeah. Statement of the victim. And then the statement of the suspect, if possible. Yeah. Now, the primary officer shall inquire if the victim requests any guns or specific weapons to be removed for safekeeping and accommodation, and accommodate removal or explain the process for seeking a court order. Yes. Now, what was served on me was a traffic citation. Yeah. hmm That said I was in Sequim, Washington at 7:47 a.m. on December 31st of 2015. Yes. It was issued 4 days after the allegation of violating the restraint provisions of a protection order. Yeah. I was arrested, put in jail. And when being interviewed, yes, I explained I wasn't in Sequim, Washington. No. It was New Year's Eve of 2015 at 7:47 a.m. and 4:48 p.m. on that same day. The accusation was two counts, yes, of knowingly violating a restraining or protection order granted under Title RCW, yes, 26. Now, it looks like if I was in law enforcement, yes, this would not be admissible. Well, if you are a sworn officer of the law, yes, in the state of Washington, yeah, at least according to the Washington State sheriffs and police chiefs, they have an obligation of photographing the crime scene, yeah, and then there's the injuries identified. That wasn't on the traffic citation. No. In fact, I didn't receive any written statements from any witnesses. No. Or the five minors named. Yeah. hmm And I didn't get a copy of the domestic violence supplemental report form. Yes. I didn't get a signed medical release or a copies of the CAD records. hmm the dispatch that dispatched the officer to the scene to question and get a statement from the victim. Yeah. And then you issued this 4 days later, right? And I don't know as I had seen an actual statement from the officer that interviewed me. Yeah. Statement of the suspect, if possible. Yeah. In fact, as I remember it, I asked for an attorney to be present when being questioned. Yes. Because I told the officer that I was not in Sequim, Washington on December 31st of 2015. In fact, I looked around the little room where we did the questioning? Yes. Looked like there was a video and an audio. Yes. As in, you were broadcasting the questioning of myself to the Port Angeles Police Department, kind of like a top secret video and audio recording of the interview process. Excuse me, I have a little cold. Yeah. Could the chief of police of Port Angeles just answer the question? The interview room where you question the accused, yes, even though the officer said, well, the video's not on. Did you watch the actual interview and deny me an attorney when being questioned? Yes. And is there any officer in the Port Angeles Police Department or Sequim Police Department? Yes. That would have said that the officer lied to me when he said that it wasn't on. A room where you question the accused and then you video and audio record it so that the rest of the officers can watch the interview process? Yes. Without telling them that the accused is being recorded? Yes. Now, I went to jail. Yeah. And then I was arraigned on the 5th. Yes. The next day. And you decided to prosecute me for this protection order violation. Yeah. Where there is forgery or is not. True. The protected order, the protected person didn't need to appear in court because you had issued a protection order and a no contact order when filing for a dissolution of marriage. Yes. We're in the parenting plan right now. You had included no contact until there's a mental health evaluation and treatment required. Oh. But as I remember it, yes. The jury trial was over with. Yes. My record was expunged. Yes. You reissued a protection order without any due process. There were 4 no contact orders in place at the time. And then you issued a temporary order and a parenting plan. Yes. Knowing that I had no arrest or criminal record in the state of Washington. You know, if I was in law enforcement, in fact, could you do me a favor and find out those employees that are sworn employees of the state that are obligated to enforce the laws? Yes. See, this says, yes, a sworn employee means a general authority Washington peace officer as defined in RCW 10.93.020. Yes. Any person appointed under RCW 35.21.333. Yeah. And any person appointed or elected to carry out the duties of the sheriff under Chapter 36.28. Now, if I was a sworn officer of the law, yes, you have a completely different set of necessaries, yes, to be able to prosecute somebody for domestic violence, yes. But as a citizen of the United States, yes, you do not feel any compulsion at all to have to enforce my rights as a citizen. Now, what about the criminal complaint in Jefferson County? Yes. Since all I got was the criminal complaint, yes, there was no sworn statement. No, there was something from the state that nobody would allow me to see. Yeah. And there was no law enforcement questioning me about where I was at on June 16th. You know, I'm really wanting to sue you today. And that goes for every sworn officer of the law in every state of the United States. Yes. So could you get me their personal addresses? Yes. Because it looks to me that my rights are being conspired against. Yes. My sons are being held hostage. Yes. And you have a very special way of exempting yourselves right now. Signed medical release. Yes. The domestic violence supplemental report form. Yes. Did the criminal complaint fill out that? Chooch. How about a statement from the victim, the same victim, Heidi Lee Budnick? Yeah. You know, we talked about the possibility of some fake victims. You know, if there was a fake victim in Sequim, Washington, yes, or a fake victim in Jefferson County. If it was a fake victim that accused me of violating the protection order that was issued from the state of Washington in 2012, yes. If it was Georgia, my wife's twin, I'm going to sue every cop in the United States of America.